There's a quarterback going in the 10th round that I think can end up in the top 5 this year. And that's called a teaser. It's August, time to mock draft. Let's get it started. We're gonna be drafting from the 101, and the first thing that you need to do when you get into your draft is check the settings. This is gonna be a snake draft, PPR, 12 team, no time limit. That's so that I can talk you through all of my picks and explain the thought process of why I'm making each selection. This will come in handy. Moving on to the roster settings, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, kicker, defense, and 5 bench spots. Now that we've got that settled, let's dive into the draft. In the first pick of the draft, everyone's available to you. So you have a lot of options, but to be honest with you, it really comes down to 2 things. Are you going running back or wide receiver? This isn't a 2 quarterback league. You're not going with the quarterback here. You're not going with the tight end here. It's a running back or wide receiver. Up until recently, I had Cooper Kupp as my number 1 wide receiver here. But with his recent injury, I'm a little hesitant on taking him number 1 overall. Justin Jefferson, I think, is the safest choice here. We know he's going to get the volume. He's clearly one of the best wide receivers in the league. And he's on an offense that's going to funnel the ball to him. But I have always been a running back first kind of guy, especially when the running back is Christian McCaffrey. I think that he is a cheat code for fantasy football. If I'm picking number 1 overall this year, I'm going with Christian McCaffrey. Next we have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown. In the second round, Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Josh Allen, and Tony Pollard. The first 2 rounds went pretty much as expected. It is definitely heavier in the receivers in the first round. 9 running backs off the board, 11 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, and of course Travis Kelce. We can go a lot of ways in the second round. Let's check out the top people at each position and see if we can find any value. We still have Jalen Hurts on the board, Mark Andrews, Chris Olave, Ramondre Stevenson. So if there's anything I know, I'm definitely getting Chris Olave here. I love Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a fantastic year this year, but I think that I could get some good value after it comes back. See, that's the thing about drafting from the number 1 spot. You have to wait a while. So you have to predict who's going to come back to you, and sometimes you're the reach for people you may not normally reach for. But I don't think we're at that spot yet. I think that Chris Olave is going to have a breakout year this year. Big fan of him. I'm going to Olave first. Chris Olave. I've decided I'm not going to go Jalen Hurts here, though I do think he's going to have a fantastic year. If I'm going to go with a onesie position, Mark Andrews is going to give me a distinct advantage above all the other tight ends, excluding Travis Kelce, obviously. If I was going quarterback, I'd go Jalen Hurts. If I was going tight end, I'd go Mark Andrews. Running back, I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not really big on Breece Hall, him coming off that injury. At the moment, he's on the pup. I think that he starts slow, not just because of his injury, but he also has a tough schedule coming up. Buffalo, Dallas, New England, that is not a good start for a guy coming off of an ACL injury, especially when the team is looking into people like Dalvin Cook. That's why you draft as late as possible. Don't draft this early. Wait till late August, early September, if possible. Najee Harris is solid, but I feel like you get more value from Mark Andrews. Let's move over to receiver. T. Higgins. T. Higgins is solid. I think he has minimal upside, though. He's going to finish about where you're drafting him. And then Mark Andrews, I think he's going to be a tier break. I think the play is Mark Andrews. How do you like to play the turn? Are you going wide receiver, running back, and dominating the running back position? Would you have gone quarterback over tight end? Let me know down in the comments. Fingers crossed that Lamar Jackson gets back to me. Let's do it. Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Ramondre Stevenson, T. Higgins, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, DK Metcalf, Najee Harris. Oh, Lamar Jackson didn't make it back to me. That would have been a heck of a stack. Maybe next time. Jahmyr Gibbs. I like him this year. Deebo Samuel, Kenneth Walker. Still think he's going kind of high. Alvin Kamara. He's jumped up since the news came out. He's only going to be suspended 3 games. DeAndre Hopkins. Love him. Joe Burrow. Keenan Allen. Justin Herbert. TJ Hawkinson. Calvin Ridley. George Kittle. Joe Mixon. And J.K. Dobbins. This is why we mock draft, people. It's not going to go the way that you planned it. Now that Lamar Jackson's gone, let's see what our options are. At quarterback, we have Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. But let's not look past Trevor Lawrence because anybody past him is really a reach. If I didn't take Mark Andrews in the previous pick, I would probably take a quarterback here. But I don't really like taking two players that you really only need one of. Onesie positions, quarterback, tight end. You really only need one of each on your team. I don't really like to have two of those in the top four unless there's a screaming value, and I don't see a screaming value. I like Justin Fields. I think he's going this high because he has top 5 upside. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to take a step to the next level this year and become the prince that was promised. Shout out to Nick Wright. If you know, you know. Plus, there's a quarterback going in the 10th round that I think can end up in the top 5 this year. And that's called a teaser. So now that we've decided we're not going quarterback, let's look at the running backs here. Aaron Jones, Dameon Pierce, Miles Sanders, Alexander Mattison. All right, Aaron Jones I actually like here. I think that he's a good grab. The Green Bay Packers offense I think is going to take a step back, losing their Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. But I do think that Aaron Jones will be utilized more often because Jordan Love's going to need him. Dameon Pierce, I'm really not big on him. I think he's being overdrafted in Houston. People are sleeping on Devin Singletary. I don't think that he's going to be great himself, but I do think that he's going to eat into Pierce. Miles Sanders, I'm big on. The Carolina Panthers paid him for a reason. Both Aaron Jones and Miles Sanders are being paid pretty well. Aaron Jones is getting paid incredibly well. But Miles Sanders has a pretty solid contract as well. $25 million for 4 years. 6th highest paid running back in the league. If you've learned anything from the recent news, running backs don't get paid. Aaron Jones and Miles Sanders got paid. Aaron Jones got paid a little bit ago, but Miles Sanders got paid this year. Long story short, they're going to use both of them. So it's out of those two for this. Next, we have wide receiver. Amari Cooper, I think, is a solid grab here. Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore. I'm really not big on DJ Moore this year. He's going to do more to help Justin Fields than he's going to do for himself. That's a knee slapper. I'm meh on Drake London and Jerry Jeudy. I'm really not aiming for Christian Watson. I do like Chris Godwin, passing on Michael Pittman. Marquise Brown, I think, is being dramatically undervalued. Oh, Tyler Lockett, love that. So these are the players that I'm aiming for on the way back, but as you can see, they're really not being taken up yet. I'm willing to roll the dice on that. And we're not even going to look at tight end because we already have one. There's no use. So let's look at our squad. We got Christian McCaffrey, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews. That's pretty spread out. Running back, wide receiver, tight end. Not too heavy on anything there. So I'm thinking we go Amari Cooper. In my personal rankings, I have Amari Cooper higher than everybody else. And I'm really not even looking at DJ Moore, Drake London, Christian Watson. I think Deshaun Watson takes a step forward this year. He can't be as bad as he was last year. And Amari Cooper is his number 1 receiver. I'm not huge on Amari Cooper, but I do think that he is going to get the most targets in that offense. Moving over to the running backs, and in fantasy football, sometimes you just got to take your guy. And I'm big on Miles Sanders this year. I think that Miles Sanders is going to have a really good year. So give me some Miles Sanders. Where do you have him? Do you think I reached? Would you have taken Aaron Jones over Miles Sanders? Let me know down in the comments. Aaron Jones right off the board. Jerry Jeudy, Justin Fields, Christian Watson, Dameon Pierce, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Alexander Mattison, DeAndre Swift, Drake London, Trevor Lawrence, Chris Godwin, Cam Akers, Rashad White. I'm disappointed about that one. As well as this one. James Conner. I was hoping one of them got back to me. Dallas Goedert, Michael Pittman, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Pitts, Dalvin Cook. Wherever he plays, I guess. Darren Waller. And Tyler Lockett. I was hoping Tyler Lockett came back to me. Perennially undervalued. All right, looking at the quarterbacks here, we got Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Tua, Anthony Richardson, and I'm really not looking at any of the other ones right now. We're way too high up for that. If I was going to pick one here, I'd probably pick Deshaun Watson to create a stack with Amari Cooper. That's not a bad option. Let's look at our squad. Okay, pretty balanced. We got 2 running backs, Christian McCaffrey and Miles Sanders, Chris Olave and Amari Cooper, as well as Mark Andrews. I like that squad so far. It's not bad. Then moving on to wide receiver, easy pick in Marquise Brown. He's being dramatically underrated. So let's just go ahead and grab him. All right, looking at the running backs. I'm not really big on Isaiah Pacheco. Javonte Williams makes me nervous. I do like David Montgomery. I think he's going to get some work in the red zone. I've been hearing some good things about James Cook in camp. I think I like how they're going to be using Antonio Gibson as well. I'm going to go with David Montgomery. Montgomery is going to be more involved than people think he is. Dan Campbell's going to use both of these running backs, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Check out what Dan Campbell said on Sirius XM NFL radio. Coach Dan Campbell envisions a two-headed monster at running back with veteran David Montgomery and rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. Campbell said he sees tremendous upside for Montgomery and Gibbs due to their different skill sets. Man, I think you need a back that push comes to shove, he can carry a load. You need somebody you feel like you can give the ball to 20 to 25 times a game potentially. What did he say? 20 to 25 times a game? That's not going to happen, but I like the way he's thinking. Now, mind you, he didn't leave out Jahmyr Gibbs. Here he goes with that one. And then you need a specialty guy. He's much more. He carries the scalpel and he can slice you up. He can hurt you in the passing game potentially. Long story short, David Montgomery is going to be more involved than y'all think he is. So yeah, I'm going David Montgomery. All right, next off the board, we got Mike Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Jordan Addison, James Cook, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, George Pickens, Javonte Williams, Trayvon Burke, David Njoku, Deontay Johnson. That's unfortunate. I was hoping he got back to me. Oh, JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I was also hoping I got him. Kadarius Toney, Quentin Johnston, Evan Ingram, Dak Prescott, A.J. Dillon, Deshaun Watson. There goes my stack. Tua Tagovailoa, Brandon Cooks. I really wanted him. He is being dramatically underrated this year. If you could ever get that man in the 8th round, grab him. Antonio Gibson. I was hoping he got back too. And Michael Thomas. All right, so at this point, you really want to know what your roster needs. What do you have too much of? What do you need to go get? And then check the landscape of what everyone else has to see if that'll help you make a decision. Let's check out the roster first. All right, so we filled out the roster with everything excluding a quarterback. Christian McCaffrey, Miles Sanders at running back. We got Chris Olave and Amari Cooper at wide receiver. Mark Andrews giving us the advantage at tight end. At flex, there's 2 flexes. We got Marquise Brown and David Montgomery. It looks like we are extremely balanced. We got 5 bench spots left, a kicker, a defense, and a quarterback. All right, so let's check out quarterbacks. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we have Anthony Richardson, the most athletic quarterback in the draft. I do think that Anthony Richardson would be a solid rookie draft pick. I don't think that he's somebody you want to play on a week-to-week basis, so you're going to want to draft him with someone else. But I don't mind grabbing him here, knowing that I'm going to have someone else that's more consistent. Because if Anthony Richardson does take that step and rushes for like 80 yards a game, he'd be nice to throw in on good matchups. I don't think he's going to be a week-to-week starter, but he will be able to go in on good matchups. And have you seen that division? He plays the Texans, Titans, and Jaguars twice. Those aren't defenses you're really worried about, where he's probably going to be a pretty good play. Kirk Cousins, he's too average to really grab right now. Aaron Rodgers, I do think he has some touchdown upside. And then Geno Smith is constantly slept on. Did y'all forget that he finished top 5 last year? Geno Smith could do it again because he has even better weapons. And he came into the season knowing he's the dude. I'm tempted to just wait for Geno. Now it's time to check out the rest of the teams and see where they're sitting at quarterback. Because they could be grabbing a quarterback here, and there's really only 3 left that I like. Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith. Team 2 has Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Tua, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Trevor Lawrence. All right, so every team has a quarterback. So I really shouldn't be worried, but somebody's going to take a second quarterback. I got a feeling. Ooh. You know what? I haven't done this all off season. Let's do an Anthony Richardson draft. Welcome to the squad, Rook. And like we were saying before, the team is extremely balanced. 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, tight end, quarterback. I'm not looking for another tight end. So it's really take the best player available here. All right. So here's the thing. At this point in the draft, what you're shooting for is upside. I already have the roster filled out for all my starters, excluding Anthony Richardson. He's going to be a backup, but I just wanted to grab him first because whoever I get for the last 3, I'm fine with. So we're looking for upside here. Brian Robinson, meh. Rashad Penny, I think he has upside. The problem is I don't think he's going to be getting as much work. Even if DeAndre Swift went down, apparently DeAndre Swift is looking good at camp. Rashad Penny, when healthy, is really good, but I do think that his touchdowns take a hit being on Jalen Hurts' team. Jamal Williams, first few games of the season, he's going to probably get some touchdowns, but then he should be a little bit in the background after that. Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker is already banged up. So is Zach Charbonnet, but if Zach Charbonnet gets all the work, he could do pretty well in Seattle by himself. Samaje Perine has been talked up pretty well. Khalil Herbert, I like him as well. I think that he's going to be involved in the Bears offense. Problem is, they're going to run it in with Justin Fields. He's not going to get goal line carries all the time. Let's look at the receivers. I like Jahan Dotson. He's a talented wide receiver. Not the best offense, but Eric Bieniemy has come in, and I think that he's going to do well there. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be the dude in New England, which Jacoby Myers did pretty well with that last year. Gabe Davis is a deep threat for Josh Allen. He had a high ankle sprain that might have held him back last year. Should be coming into this year healthy. Zay Flowers, I actually like him as a rookie. Problem is, I already have Mark Andrews, and I'm not trying to be overcommitted to the Baltimore offense. Like I said before, highest upside is Zach Charbonnet. If he gets the backfield all by himself, I think that he does some work. Zach Charbonnet it is. Zay Flowers, Jahan Dotson, Pat Freiermuth, Brian Robinson, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jamal Williams, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Penny, Gabe Davis, Samaje Perine, Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham Jr., Khalil Herbert, Kirk Cousins. Man, quarterbacks are coming off the board. Dalton Schultz, Chig Okonkwo, Elijah Moore, Cole Kmet, Dalton Kincaid, Jamison Williams, Damian Harris, and Alan Lazard. Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins came off the board. Yeesh. That was close. All right, so at quarterback, we have Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Derek Carr. We're really not getting anybody that low. That is off the board. We're going to go with Geno Smith. I am huge on Geno Smith this year. I actually think he takes a step forward. Giving him JSN is only going to make this offense better. And you got Tyler Lockett on one side and DK Metcalf on the other with JSN in the slot? Please. Geno Smith about to be a problem. How do y'all feel about Anthony Richardson and Geno Smith? Is that a good combination? Do you think that Anthony Richardson has the upside that I think he has? I think Geno's going to be really good this year. What do you think? All right, now that the quarterback position is settled, let's figure out where else can we go. Okay, so we got Devon Achane. I think that he's going to be used in clever ways. We got Jerick McKinnon, always useful in Kansas City. Jerick McKinnon can do work this year. I don't think that he's going to be the most involved, but I do think that we should keep an eye on him. Devin Singletary, Dante Foreman, that's not a bad grab. Kendre Miller, I do think that he can get some love this year. Jeff Wilson, I actually think that he might be one of my last grabs. He is going late. I also think that Jaylen Warren has some upside if anything happens to Najee Harris again. Roshan Johnson has an upside. It's looking like Jerick McKinnon. Let's check out the wide receivers. Adam Thielen, nah. Rashad Bateman, again, can't go back to Baltimore. Jacoby Myers, I like him, but I don't really believe that there's going to be too many options in Las Vegas that we're going to want. Sky Moore, he definitely does have upside, but he could be like he was last year. And Rashee Rice is pretty low down here too. Ooh, Nico Collins is going late. Ooh, so right now I'm between Jerick McKinnon and Nico Collins. This is one of the things that happens. Jerick McKinnon will not come back to me. I know that. Nico Collins may come back to me. But risking it, I'm going to lose out on a receiver that I actually think is going to be pretty good this year. Let's check out his notes. For those of you who don't know, Nico Collins, wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Collins appears to be CJ Stroud's favorite target during OTAs and minicamp. Getting somebody's favorite target this late in the draft in round 11. Let's read some more. New coach DeMeco Ryans singles out Collins as the big guy with probably the best hands on the team. What? I can't risk this dude not coming back to me. I think that he is definitely worth a shot in the 11th. We'll roll the dice on Jerick McKinnon. Are you sleeping on Nico Collins? Maybe you shouldn't be. All right, got Nico Collins. Next we have Devon Achane, Adam Thielen, Jerick McKinnon, Elijah Mitchell, Jared Goff, Rashad Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Daniel Jones, Tyler Algier, Sky Moore, Greg Dulcich, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Higbee, Kendre Miller, that's a nice grab, Darnell Mooney, Russell Wilson, Rondale Moore, Tyler Boyd, Rashee Rice, that's a nice grab, Ezekiel Elliott, wherever he plays, Sam Laporta, I think his name is Sam. Yes, it's Sam. Justin Tucker. All right, now we're back up on the board. Checking out who we got. We're pretty balanced. 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. I like that. 2 quarterbacks. 1 more than I normally like to have, but I like the circumstance. All right, so we're pretty even. Draft best available. Who we got? The quarterbacks are. We're not drafting quarterback. We're not drafting tight end. So it's either running back or a wide receiver here. When I get to this part of the draft, I'm really looking for 2 things: upside and opportunity. I want to know in the first week or 2 if this player is going to be useful for my team. Because if you grab a middling player here, they're just going to play okay. I don't want okay. I either want you're good, you should stay on my roster, or you suck. Get out of here. Because there will be players week 1, 2, 3, pretty much throughout the year, but at the beginning of the season, it matters a lot. You want to be able to make a decision on, will this player stay on my team or not? You want somebody with some upside and that can show you that they deserve to be on your team in the first couple weeks. Keep that in mind when you're late in your drafts. So who here fits that category? All right, wide receiver, Jonathan Mingo, a rookie catching from a rookie. I don't know if I'm trying to grab that right now. Romeo Doubs, Zay Jones, Michael Gallup. People do love talking up Michael Gallup. I'm not big on Michael Gallup, mainly because I really like Brandon Cooks, but I think Michael Gallup could have a pathway to being relevant in the Dallas Cowboys offense, and we could possibly see it early. Van Jefferson, I also like. I think they really don't have many other receivers to throw it to on the Rams. I think he could see some targets. I like that too. All right, so for running back, Deontay Foreman could be a guy. Raheem Mostert could prove to be a guy. I like the offense. They get very creative there. Jeff Wilson, Jaylen Warren, hell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I actually still think that he's going to be more involved than people think he is. And Devin Singletary, that's solid as well. We're gonna go with Jeff Wilson. I like the creativity of the Miami Dolphins offense, and I do think that he's going to be involved. And there's a world where he has a little bit of upside. I'll take that. And for the receivers, I'll take Michael Gallup. I think Michael Gallup has a shot to be involved. He's a slot receiver on an offense that we expect to be good. All right, now we have Bryce Young, Deontay Foreman, Raheem Mostert, Devin Singletary, Daniel Carlson, Eagles defense, Cincy kicker, Evan McPherson, Jonathan Mingo, 49ers defense, Jets defense, Gerald Everett, Harrison Butker. Surprised he went so late. He probably should be the second kicker off the board. Jake Elliott, Tyler Bass, Cowboys defense, Rams defense, Brandon McManus for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Steelers defense, Bills defense, Dolphins defense, Younghoe Koo, and Patriots defense. Now, I have a vet tip for you. If you don't have to draft a kicker or defense, don't do it. Draft other players instead. And then drop 2 players right before the season starts to pick up a kicker or defense. The reason you do this is there are injuries. Crazy stuff happens during the offseason. You want to give yourself an opportunity to somehow make your team better. And if you grab a backup of a couple running backs, a running back or 2 goes down, your team could have gotten way better. Instead of having a kicker or defense on your team, now you have a potential upside player. Let's see if Sleeper lets me do it. Gotta be a player I'm willing to drop in case something happens. Najee had an injury situation in the past. We can check that out. Let's do Jaylen Warren. Oh, it did let me grab him. Let's go. And with Cooper Kupp's recent injury, Van Jefferson actually fits this mold. If something happens where Cooper Kupp tries to come back and he comes back too soon and he ends up getting hurt and can't play week 1 or week 2, Van Jefferson is bound to see a bunch of targets. And he'll already be on your squad. Vet tips. Vet tips. I do normally like to use these things on running backs, but with Cooper Kupp being so high profile, I think Van Jefferson's the grab here. Michael Mayer, Chiefs defense, Jason Myers, James Sanders, Roshan Johnson, Kyler Murray, Jerome Ford, Matt Gay, Irv Smith, Romeo Doubs, and Seattle Seahawks defense. All right, it's time to review the final roster. At quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson and Geno Smith. At running back, we have Christian McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Zach Charbonnet, Jeff Wilson, and Jaylen Warren. At wide receiver, we have Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, Marquise Brown, Nico Collins, Michael Gallup, and Van Jefferson. At tight end, we have Mark Andrews. And we didn't pick a defense or kicker. How did I do? Who would you have selected instead? Let me know what you think about this team in the comments. Mock draft make me use my brain. That's why I gotta wear my Tony Stark chain. Boy, genius. Gotta love mock drafts. Mock drafting is extremely important if you are actually serious about doing well in your fantasy football draft. And don't just draft on Sleeper. If you're going to play on ESPN, mock draft on ESPN. If you're going to play on Yahoo, mock on Yahoo. Yes, it may be annoying to mock on Yahoo because they're way less efficient. But you will get better mocking on the platform that you're actually going to play on. ADPs are different. ADPs are average draft positions. The average draft position on Sleeper is not the same on ESPN. It's not the same on Yahoo. That means, bring it in close now, some players will be overvalued and some players will be undervalued. For an example, let's say Chris Olave on Sleeper goes at the 24th pick. Well, he may go at the 34th pick on ESPN or Yahoo. You need to practice where you're going to play. Don't get me wrong. You should still probably mock draft on Sleeper as well because it's quicker. But you should be comparing where everybody is sitting on the different platforms. Or you could just come back here and have me explain it for you. I'll be doing a deep dive on where players are ranking on the different platforms, whether it be Sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo. I'll do an analysis and get back to you. This is just one mock draft. If you're not going to draft for the #1 overall pick, don't worry. I'll be doing multiple mock drafts from different positions. So, where do you think I should draft from next? Do you want half point, full point, standard for some reason, 2 quarterback, tight end premium, 3 wide receiver spots? Let me know if y'all want me to change up any of the settings. And click here if you want some more mock drafts.